Going into the release of this year's Call of Duty game, I thought that Activision was prepping up a game that gamers were gonna be all over for a wide variety of reasons. Modern Warfare had a lot of potential, and it looked like they were generating a lot of positive PR. From the quality beta that they ran, cross-platform play, some of the new elements being introduced in the game, Modern Warfare had a lot to like, and it seemed like gamers were getting pretty invested into the game, and it looked like the game was gonna do rather well come its October 25th release. However, everything went awry come the State of Play show. Yes, what happened at State of Play? Well, Call of Duty Modern Warfare got a brand new trailer, and the big thing announced at that trailer was the fact that the survival mode of Spec Ops was going to be exclusive to the PlayStation 4 for a limited duration. Now, we've seen this in the past with Call of Duty. I remember going back to the early Call of Duty games when Call of Duty and Activision were in bed with Microsoft, and the DLC were coming out first on Xbox platforms. A little bit annoying, but it would be a quick turnaround, and the PlayStation guys would get the DLC, as would the PC guys, and it wouldn't be a big deal, but still an annoyance nonetheless. This generation, the tides have turned where Activision partnered with Sony, and a lot of the content are coming first to PlayStation. However, in the case of this Spec Ops mode, it's a little bit more jarring based on the fact that, yes, it's going to be timed exclusive on PlayStation. However, the timed exclusivity period really gets your head scratching because it is a very long time. It's not a month, it's not 3 months, it's not 6 months, it's an entire year. Yes, the mode is going to be exclusive on the PlayStation 4 until October 1st of 2020, so just shy of a year. But nonetheless, the issue with this is Call of Duty is a yearly franchise. By the time we get to October 1st, 2020, we're already going to be looking towards the new Call of Duty game, and usually Call of Duty maintains its luster for around 3 to 6 months, and then people jump over and they usually move on. That's generally how the things have been going. That's generally just gaming in general. 3 to 6 months is the lifespan for a game to reach its peak, and then it usually tapers off a little bit. That's a generalization. We've seen other games, release updates or release expansions, and then they jolt back up. World of Warcraft is a prime example of that. Whenever an expansion is released, it'll jolt back up, but again, it dissipates back down. And with Call of Duty, that is doubly so because you are always expecting a yearly release. So for content to be exclusive for nearly that entire year period, that is just very, very jarring and very disappointing. Now, you can make the argument, and it's a little bit funny to say it on this channel because we have more so covered PlayStation content on this channel. However, I try to assess things as objectively as possible, and I was upset about the fact of Rise of the Tomb Raider being an exclusive game on Xbox and Xbox One, and it was on the 360 as well. However, this is more of an annoyance because think about this. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is still being released on Xbox One and PC, and it's still being priced at a full $59.99. That is where the issue lies. Activision is taking the game, releasing a more limited version of it on Xbox One and PC, and they're still charging the same price for it. That is unexcusable. In the case of Rise of the Tomb Raider, the game didn't ultimately come out on PlayStation 4 until a year later, but guess what? Square Enix actually went the extra mile, and they released content for the PlayStation 4 version of the game. They bundled in a lot of extra stuff, and I believe we got the 20-year celebration edition or whatever, and they actually made it worth PlayStation 4 gamers as well to check out the game. Now, unfortunately, that game didn't do all too well after its delayed release on PS4, but nonetheless, Square Enix did go the extra mile, and that was pretty cool. In the case of this game, it's still being released on PC and Xbox One. They're just getting a worse version of the game, and I don't think it's too overbearing to say something like this. Now, Infinity Ward actually gave a statement on Call of Duty Modern Warfare's Spec Ops Survival Mode and the PS4 exclusivity. They actually put out 2 statements to show you how much negative press they got. But taking to the Modern Warfare subreddit, Infinity Ward Senior Communication Manager Ashton Williams posted a message clarifying that Modern Warfare Spec Ops Mode is not exclusive to the PS4, but rather just the sub-mode of it. So yes, it's the survival component of the Spec Ops mode. It's not the entirety of Spec Ops, but still, it's a substantial element of the game being locked behind exclusivity. Here's what it notes. Quote, lots of discussion and reactions to yesterday's news about Special Ops. We know you have questions and we want to clarify. To be clear, our all-new Special Ops mode will be releasing on all platforms on October 25th. We're looking forward to revealing Special Ops on October 8th. When we launch on October 25th, everyone on all platforms will be getting Modern Warfare, which includes Campaign, the all-new Special Ops mode, and the entirety of multiplayer multiplayer, which is a massive experience we've worked to create. Special Ops Survival is an additional classic mode that will be available on PlayStation 4. We have made many changes this year with the goal to make the entire experience better for all of the Call of Duty community. I don't really know how you can say that considering you signed an exclusivity agreement to make a component of the game exclusive to one platform for a lengthy period of time, but nonetheless, they have done some very positive things as detailed in the statement, including no season pass, cross-play across all platforms, and that all post-release maps and modes will be coming to all platforms at the same time, and they've gotten a lot of positive PR about that. However, that positive PR has kind of dissipated with the announcement of this, them still making a decision that is very much based on financials, which I get studios and publishers are going to do that. It's just that this is taking it one step further, and I'll explain that in a little bit. The statement continues, we understand that some may still be disappointed to not be able to play classic Spec Ops Survival Day 1. We hear you. Please know that we are working hard to make sure this is the best Call of Duty we've ever made and the best experience possible for fans. Alright, so one statement is enough, but then a follow-up statement was also posted. The studio had once again posted a new message to the Modern Warfare community, and this one wants to address Modern Warfare drama floating about and how developers are people too, and that community shouldn't believe everything they hear and read from people. Check out the message posted by Joel Emsile, studio art director. And before I read this statement, I do want to note that it's not okay to be attacking developers personally, threatening them, or anything like that. Come on, it's video games. We can talk about the industry, we can talk about BS business practices, but we don't need to attack them personally. We don't have to attack the developers, who a lot of them didn't have any say in this decision. A lot of this is an Activision decision, and a decision that they had absolutely no say over. I'm just going to read a portion of it because it is quite a lengthy statement. I'll leave a link in the description box below where you can check out the statement in its entirety. But it notes, so yes, the current drama, you are all being heard. All of it. I don't know why, but on my daily scans of the sub where I'm looking for useful feedback, I even read the ultra dark toxic comments that tell me how incompetent and stupid I must be and how I should go away somewhere where I can harm people with my bad ideas and artwork. We all have pretty thick skin here, but yeah, it can kind of get to. Believe me, we keep it professional, but of course, people that pass by my office from time to time can hear me through the walls. It's disappointing, but we move on with our day. I understand that there are people here that have things going on in their lives or are upset about something to do with the game and they need to get the poison out and feel like they are being listened to. You are, and yeah, go for it, but keep it clean and maybe even a little creative. Get it out of your system, but remember, there's a team of human beings here at Infinity Ward, and we have crappy days just like you. Our interest is entirely in the game itself. There are some announcements that have come up this week that are official and some that are rumors. My ask of all of you is to focus on information that is actually fact and not get thrown off by ill-informed people that want to make a name for themselves by spreading half-baked inflammatory rumors. Let's work real problems together and not fairy tales of boogeyman. So I just wanted to read that statement because yes, Infinity Ward from a development studio standpoint are hearing the consumer. Unfortunately, IW is just a development studio. A lot of the business decisions are made from publishers, made from higher ups, and the developers don't have a lot of say in that, so attacking them directly isn't going to affect a lot. Yes, they can take your words, yes, they could relay it to the people that matter, but at the end of the day, the people that matter and make these decisions, they have to ultimately make those decisions, and if the contract's already been signed, if the money's already been exchanged from Sony and Activision, well, they kind of have to go through with this. I don't know how you could step back and remedy the situation unless Sony and Activision come together and they both decide, hey, this is probably not the best for both parties. For the case of Modern Warfare, it's not a good look on the game. For Sony, it's not a good look on them either because they signed this agreement, but nonetheless, exclusivity practices from big publishers and console manufacturers have been something that's been widely accepted in gaming, so I think a lot of the criticism is going to fall on Infinity Ward and Activision, but nonetheless, it's just an unfortunate state all around. Also, I do want to note that Call of Duty leaker and YouTuber The Gaming Revolution has gone on Twitter stating that due to a ton of lost Modern Warfare pre-orders over the Spec Ops controversy, Activision and IW held a big meeting to talk about Modern Warfare microtransactions, and he specifically said this. Activision and Infinity Ward apparently recently held a big meeting regarding my recent post about supply drops. The gist of it is that they've lost a ton of pre-orders with the recent news of Survival being delayed by a year on PC and Xbox and the microtransaction news, and are thinking about giving the player the options to earn them again. Nothing regarding microtransactions is set in stone, and like I've said countless times before, they're a constant work in progress, but my source wanted to let the community know that they really care. It's one thing to say that they really care, however, the care really came in once they lost a lot of pre-orders, once the backlash had already been set in. If they inherently cared from the get-go, things like this wouldn't have been a factor from the get-go either. I give them a lot of credit for removing season passes and all that stuff. That stuff is really good for the consumer, and considering that games like Battlefield 5 have already done away with that, they had to kind of follow suit, and it's good to see that gaming is going back to where it once was. And then we're not getting nickel and dime for everything. However, these exclusivity agreements are a little bit of a bummer, and hopefully everything can come together where the gamer still gets a compelling experience come October 25th. And I want to round out this video by saying that the imperative statement that I hear over and over again is that this game is still going to be really good. Oh, you don't have to care about the Spec Ops survival component. It's not even that big of a game element. Here's the thing, if this becomes a normalized practice in gaming, yes, you might not care about Spec Ops Survival, maybe you don't even care about Call of Duty Modern Warfare. However, the more and more this gets normalized, wait until your favorite game or a big component of your game of choice gets removed from a game because of an exclusivity period, and then this happens to a single-player open-world RPG where a significant quest line is limited to one platform because of an exclusivity agreement. Would you really like that? I am sure a lot of you guys wouldn't like that, so it's not necessarily just this one instance of this exclusivity agreement, but the overarching narrative. What does that mean for gaming in the future if this is super successful, if they see that they can get away with this, which they clearly haven't at this point because the ramifications have been felt very hard. So I imagine this is something that they're gonna assess for future releases, and I'm sure other publishers have taken note and realized, okay, that is something that we probably can't get away with. But nonetheless, I do want to make that abundantly clear as well. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comment section down below, because this is such an interesting story to cover, and a very interesting story given that we are less than a month away from the release of the game. It would have been one thing if this happened 3, 4, 5 months ago and Activision had a suitable amount of time to remedy the situation and get everything figured out, but the game is dropping October 25th. They have such a limited window to actually figure everything out, and yes, it seems like Activision and Infinity Ward do want to remedy the situation. However, again, you've only got a couple of weeks to get things done, and then there's also the element of rolling everything out and making sure everything's ready for launch. This just must be a massive headache over at Activision, but nonetheless, it is one that they kind of employed on themselves. But nonetheless, that's going to conclude this video. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.